afternoon, and greetings from all of us at CLIA. I'm pleased to be able to join you virtually at the World Ocean Forum this year, and I look forward to the time when I can join you in person. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you about the cruise industry and the progress we're making to support a carefully managed, responsible resumption of cruising. At a time when consumer consciousness is putting more and more focus on the cruise industry, it's important that we and our stakeholders understand the opportunities that cruise can deliver, and also the facts behind some of the key issues facing our industry. While we're just a very small part of the global maritime industry, at less than 1% of global shipping, and just a blip in the global tourism numbers, at around 2% of the 1.4 billion annual international tourists before COVID, as an industry, we are taking real and important steps forward. Before I begin, let me give you a brief introduction to CLIA. Cruise Lines International Association is the largest cruise industry association in the world. Our vision is for the cruise industry to be recognized as a leader in responsible travel and the best way to experience the world. Our mission is to foster our members' success and the common interests of the cruise industry by investing in research, development, and education that helps guide the industry in its unwavering commitment to protect and preserve the waters on which we sail and the destinations we visit. We also mount advocacy and promotional efforts on behalf of our members to add and create value while demonstrating the commitment, leadership, and positive impact the cruise industry has in responsible tourism. The CLIA community includes 56 of the world's most prestigious ocean, river, and specialty cruise lines, representing around 95% of ocean-going cruise capacity. 350 executive partners, including members of the port, destination and travel community, the maritime and technical service providers, and the product and service suppliers supporting our ship's operations. 15,000 travel agencies, including the largest travel agencies, hosts, franchises, and consortia throughout the world, and 54,000 travel agents, which includes travel agent members in North America, Europe, the United Kingdom, Asia, and Australasia. The cruise industry is heavily regulated, with robust, clearly enforced standards and multiple layers of regulation and policy to implement the thousands of specific requirements of global regulators. As CLIA members, our cruise lines are required to operate within a series of industry policies that at a minimum meet and often exceed the rest of the maritime industry. As an industry, we take our leading role globally in environmental best practice seriously, as well as maritime safety and security and public health. While we're just a very small part of the global maritime industry, we are a responsible industry. We have responsibility to the oceans, the communities that cruise ships visit, and the people who work for and with the industry. Pre-COVID, travel and tourism was one of the fastest growing sectors in the world economy. And that hunger to see the world appeared inexhaustible and is likely to come roaring back. This is wonderful for those of us in the travel and tourism business, but also a source of concern around the world for the impact on the environment that we operate in. The world around us is changing, and it's changing fast. The expectations of communities around the world is that tourism has taken on much greater complexity. Our industry is often in the spotlight because our ships are incredibly visible, tangible assets when they're in the harbors around the world. As a cruise industry, we're conscious that with our growth and increased weight comes the need to act responsibly, and we are taking our social responsibilities very seriously. Prior to the pandemic, the cruise industry had become a dynamic and highly successful economic driver. Cruising supported more than 1 million jobs worldwide and contributed nearly $155 billion in global economic output in 2019. Almost 30 million people took an ocean cruise in 2019, including 3.7 million people from Asia, which had risen to become the world's third largest cruise market after North America and Europe. But with the onset of the pandemic, this key economic contributor, along with most other areas of travel, came to a complete halt. This took an enormous toll on the broader travel community. In 2020, every 1% loss of cruises resulted in a reduction of 9,100 industry-related jobs. Every day of the suspension translated to 2,500 jobs lost worldwide, including travel industry professionals, the travel agents, the crew members, the tour operators, and all those people supporting our industry, from the transport workers, the port workers, the food and beverage suppliers, and the maritime industry providers. We can all appreciate that the first 2 years of this decade have presented us with some of the most extraordinary challenges that we have faced in living memory. Challenges that have deeply affected our industry and our people, personally and professionally. At the same time, these challenges have set in motion a global response that is redefining the way we travel now and will also redefine the way we travel in the future. This is particularly true in the cruise industry. Not only was our sector hit hard during the initial emergence of COVID, but it has also responded with some of the most comprehensive measures to be found anywhere outside the health sector. This has involved a complete door-to-door, bow-to-stern examination of our operations, a response that covers the entirety of the cruise experience. It also extends well beyond the confines of our ships, ensuring a close engagement with governments and port communities as part of a highly coordinated approach to resumption. By developing and implementing the most stringent and effective health measures we could achieve, we have paved the way for our industry's revival and developed skills in the process that will support our efforts as we face other challenges ahead. The result of our industry's enhanced health measures have been a careful and phased resumption of operations that have been both responsible and successful. Notably, Asian markets have been amongst the early pioneers in implementing the health measures and in reviving cruise operations. In Singapore and Chinese Taipei, and more recently in Hong Kong, a close collaboration was swiftly established between the health authorities, the cruise lines, and other stakeholders to support resumption. This success has proved invaluable and is now providing insight that is informing efforts in other locations in Asia and Australasia, where work with health authorities and governments towards resumption is continuing. Elsewhere, our industry's new health measures have helped achieve success in other regions, including Europe and the UK, the United States, and the Caribbean. In fact, close to 3 million passengers have already sailed successfully in locations where cruising has resumed. Many on board cruises that were operating with effective health protocols in place even before the widespread availability of vaccines. Currently, around 56% of global CLIA cruise line capacity is back in operation, and this is projected to reach around 80% by December. This translates to around 220 ocean-going ships that will have come back into service by the end of the year, which is an enormous achievement. Importantly, the experience from resumption shows that our industry's new health protocols are working successfully and that passengers are enjoying their cruises just as much as before. But cruising's unprecedented suspension also provides an opportunity to reset and map out a future course for our industry. Throughout last year, CLIA and our cruise line members joined with some of the most respected medical experts in the world to develop and implement the new COVID-19 prevention, mitigation, and response measures that are amongst the most stringent to be found anywhere in tourism. These measures not only support our foremost priority in upholding health and safety, but also create the foundation from which we can rebuild confidence amongst consumers, communities, and government authorities, and help restore prosperity to local, national, and global economies. The measures include a combination of vaccination and testing for guests and crew before boarding, as well as detailed protocols covering crew quarantine, distancing, sanitation, health monitoring, and response procedures. And notably, our industry was the first globally to mandate 100% testing of all guests and crew before boarding. At the same time, confidence amongst travellers is increasing. CLIA data shows that 85% of cruisers say they are likely to cruise again in the near future. And that figure is back to pre-pandemic levels. In Asia, the sentiment is even stronger. Amongst Asian cruisers, 90% say they will cruise again in the next few years, which is the highest level of any region in the world. And even amongst those who've never cruised before, 78% of Asian travellers say that they will consider a cruise in the next few years, which is also the highest rate in the world against a global figure of 64%. These and other indicators give us every reason to be confident in our future and in the long-term resilience of the cruise market. But we still face tests and responsibilities that will require a great deal of further dedication and innovation to meet. Having reinvented our operation in response to the health crisis, we must also continue to reinvent ourselves in a range of other areas. Even while addressing the pandemic impacts, the industry has remained focused on its commitment to a sustainable future. Our industry is often in the spotlight because our ships are incredibly visible. As a cruise industry, we're conscious that with our growth and increased weight comes the need to act responsibly, and we are taking our social responsibilities very seriously. Our cruise lines are making substantial progress towards environmental protection and overall sustainability. A thriving cruise industry can support the economic recovery and long-term objectives. For the global industry, sustainable seas and thriving destinations are not only an important goal, but are a business imperative. As we expect to see growth recover, we simply have to be exemplary in all our actions. CLIA has 3 overarching sustainability strategies that summarize our approach to capturing the opportunity and demonstrating the responsibility, which, as it happens, all end in the word ship: leadership, stewardship, and partnership. Key to these is sustainability and our determination to be leaders in achieving genuine environmental advances. Our work in this area is ongoing and is a critical responsibility and continues steadfast despite the pandemic. CLIA members have made a fleet-wide commitment to reduce the rate of their carbon emissions by 40% by 2030, and to date have invested more than $26.5 billion in ships with new technologies and cleaner fuels to reduce emissions and achieve greater efficiencies. Advances like alternative fuels, such as LNG, the technology like exhaust gas cleaning systems, and initiatives like the advanced wastewater treatment systems are not only making significant reductions in our own environmental footprints, but also setting standards that can be translated throughout the rest of the maritime sector. Destination stewardship is also critical, and in partnership with bodies such as the UN World Tourism Organization, the World Tourism and Travel Council, and the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, CLIA has been working with port cities to analyze issues like crowding and finding solutions. And together with our cruise lines, we continue to identify opportunities to engage with and partner with port communities to understand their needs and achieve genuine benefits that will support our mutual aims. As we move forward, we can draw enormous confidence and inspiration from what we've already overcome over the past 18 months. As we consider the future of cruising and the elements that will define its success in years to come, the answer lies in the innovation, the collaboration, and the commitment that we've already seen deployed in our pandemic response. Our task now is to continue to apply these skills across the other defining challenges that we face into the future. We have the privilege to fulfill the dreams and the aspirations of millions of people by taking them to some of the most beautiful places in the world. And we need to be able to do this in a safe, responsible, and sustainable way. Thank you for your time today. and I encourage you to visit www.cruising.org to find out more about our industry and our initiatives for the future. Thank you.